Welcome back. It's another one by the Bling baby. Today we have our pink 40-ounce Stanley Quencher. Of course, we're going to start with prep. I just wiped her down with some 91% isopropyl alcohol. And we're ready to go. Alright, so I'm about to lay that foundation line. And when you lay that foundation line, you really need to take your time. I'll be doing the honeycomb pattern on this. And I know that when your foundation line is crooked, that's how you run into problems later. So there's already kind of a guideline here at the top of the cup. And I'm just making sure to follow that. Honeycomb pattern is my favorite pattern because it reminds me of putting together a puzzle. The stones interlock, and you'll see that as I start building my rows. Alright, so your second line should fit perfectly into your first line. That is an indicator that your first line is completely straight. Number one piece of advice that I can offer for this pattern is to always keep that first line straight, and I'll keep saying that because I know how hard it is, and I know what it's like when your lines aren't straight. So this will help you in the long term. If you want to learn honeycomb pattern, I recommend doing it on a cup like this where the width is the same for quite a while, or a skinny straight tumbler because that's the easiest to learn on. Tapered tumblers like the Starbucks tumblers can be kind of difficult to learn on just because they have that taper, and you're gonna need a lot of filler stones, especially if you have any kind of pattern, and those can be hard to learn on. Of course you can do it, but if you're a beginner, I don't recommend it because your patience will be tested. I've had people come to me in my DMs and be like, okay, I started a tapered tumbler, it's not looking good. What do I do? Do I start over? And it will be like really crooked, really bad. And I'll be like, yeah, at that point, if it's really crooked, you should start over. Just start over, remove everything. Like I said, your patience will be tested, but you can do it. It just takes patience. And if you ever get overwhelmed, just take some breaks. People always ask me how I got started, and it started off just as a hobby for me. It started being something I really, really loved, and it's just something that I continue to do because it quieted my mind. I'd get the, hey, I don't know how you can do that. You put one stone on at a time. That's crazy. It's like, yeah, that's crazy, but that's what I chose, you know. So it's just something that I continue to do, and what we're going on like year 3. So it's been quite a while, and I hope to help anyone that would like to learn. I forgot to mention the color that I'm using today. It is called Air Rose Gold. It's a glass rhinestone, and it has the color changing chameleon property, so it kind of dances between like the gold, the green, and the pink, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I thought it would be a perfect match for this project. It's not a color I normally see, but I think it's absolutely beautiful, and that's the thing about rhinestones. They come in so many different colors. You have so many options, and you have so many ways that you can be creative with them. A question I get commonly asked is, how do I start? And for that, you just have to start. Look at something that inspires you that you would like to create, and then go from there. Grab your materials, get the colors that you'd like together, and just start. Because there's so many things you can do out here. It might be easier if you're just starting to use one plain color on a straight tumbler all the way down, or maybe add a name. But I think when you're just starting, it's good to kind of learn the technique and grow from there. And if you want to sell these items, then I would say go on and build your portfolio, show several different projects that you've done, get your pricing down, the price that you want to, charge people for these. But like I said, like for me, I didn't have like a price list because people would come to me with their ideas, and I would talk to them and see if that is something that I even would want to do or could do. So prices would vary, but if they just wanted like one color and a name, then I would have a set price for them. If they want something advanced like my lollipop tumblers or like a piggy bank or something crazy, then I have to charge quite a bit, right? These do take hours, so keep in mind, that they do take time, and you should be paid properly for your time and your skill. So this isn't something I would rush into for money, and I really didn't. It kind of happened that way, and I just kind of kept going with it. But if you're only doing it for the money, then I just don't think you're going to stick with it. I don't think you're going to enjoy it as much. The joy for me came from helping other people, and just so many people being interested in this craft, and I really thought that was cool. It was cool to teach people about it. People writing me, telling me it helped with their anxiety, or help them get through hard times in their life. And I think that's where I get the most thrill out of this craft. If you don't know about the KG, you should. Crystal Glaze was founded by Crystal Hughes. She is a rhinestone artist, or she was. She's a full-blown businesswoman. She doesn't really make like rhinestone creations as much, but she sells rhinestones, she sells the glue, and she sells business courses, which I took a recent course of hers and it was very helpful. And she's a Black-owned business, and I wanted to support her because, she's, someone I looked up to for so long. So, I'm happy to support her and use her glue for these projects because her glue is durable. And I'm not sponsored. So, yeah, I've always bought her glue and continued to buy it and use it. It's just great stuff. And if you don't have access to KG, maybe you're in like Europe or something, like B7000 is something kind of similar to this, and you could use that as an alternative. So back to me sharing about like how I got into this, why I still do it, how I'm still doing it, and what's transpired from this. So this whole Bling thing has changed my entire life. And when I say my entire life. So I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder a few years ago, and I could not function as a human being. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't just do what I usually did. So I just had my daughter, and she was a newborn, and all I was a mom taking care of a newborn. I didn't do anything else. I just remember being so anxious about her, and I don't know what caused that, but I just went off the rails. I just was worried all the time. So I was told to look into getting a hobby, do something. And I chose this, and the rest is history. And I never looked back. I never stopped. I kept learning. And it's funny because I remember I bought like this cheap kit from Amazon. It was like a hot fix kit with like the cheap rhinestones. And I thought, okay, let me start here. And it didn't work out well. And then I did some research and I'm like, wait, people are gluing the rhinestones down. So I went ahead and looked into that. But I kept going and I kept learning. And I got better and better. And my work started to get recognized when I started posting on TikTok. I post on TikTok because it was so fun. I love posting on social media and creating content. And back then, looking at my content, it was pretty bad, but I didn't care. I was having a good time. And I remember when my first video that I thought it got like over 5,000 views. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like 5,000 people have seen this. They think it's cool. And then I went really viral with, like several hundreds of thousands of views. And a lot of people were asking about it. And that's kind of how it like popped off for me. Just people were like really interested in it. And I had so much fun sharing about it and helping them. Pretty early on, my work got recognized and put into one of the big fashion magazines. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I actually didn't know that they were going to use my work for sure. I kept it on the low, but I remember when they told me that they did use my tumbler. And then I asked what magazine publication it was, and they told me, and I went to get the magazine when it came out. And Zendaya was on the cover. And I thought my work would be just in a small little spread, but it was actually over several pages. It was over 3 pages, and it had like Oscar winner holding it, and she was dressed down in Gucci. It was just really cool and surreal, and just to achieve that so early, just, starting this on a whim was really cool to me. So you just never know. You got to put yourself out here. You never know like what could happen to you, how your life could change. So here you can see me counting on one side and going up. We are crossing over, and then I'm counting up to make sure that my line will meet in the middle and be equal. So that's a little trick that I do. You really want to make sure that you're taking your time with this, because this is where your rows can get thrown off back here, and you're going to have to figure out a way to fix it. And I'm just going to go ahead and continue to fill this area in. All right, so like I was saying, I got into the W magazine. That was major for me. Because I just never imagine that, you know what I mean? And they found me from TikTok. So if you're an artist, I would say I know it's hard, sometimes to post, but post your content, post as many places as you can. You don't know who's going to see you, who's going to reach out to you. And that has brought me so many opportunities, brand deals, working with celebrity clients. Like, it's amazing what can happen this day and age on the internet, and your life can change any day, and it's just crazy. So as you can see, everything's so even here. You see how straight it is? That's what I'm talking about. So you're going to want to make sure that you take your time and that these lines are straight. I'm just going to go ahead and continue on. The only part where I ran into some trouble was when I got to that little bit of a taper part, and I decided to size down so everything would look even there, and so I wouldn't have to use too many fillers. All right, so continuing on about my little journey there. So that's kind of like what this has brought me. And, it's crazy because I, just believed in me. I didn't really have a lot of people that did. And the most important thing is you got to believe in you, especially if you're going to be in the art sector. Because the art sector, it's hard. It's extremely hard to be an artist of any kind. But you have to kind of change your mindset to be like, it's hard, but I can do it. It's hard, but I can do hard things. And that's how I live, and that's how I choose to live. And I've been doing this for, like I said, just about 3 years, and I've been just fine. You're gonna learn a lot as you go. You're gonna grow. You're gonna find what works for you. You're gonna, it's very rewarding. So my advice to people who ask me how, I got to be where I am now is just 1, you got to believe in yourself. 2, you have to start. And 3, you have to be consistent. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not going to always be smooth, but you're going to handle whatever happens, and you're just going to learn along the way and get better, and you're going to keep learning, and you're going to keep growing. And even though I've achieved so much in such a short time, I never get comfortable. I'm always thankful and grateful that these things have happened, and I just keep going and I keep learning. There's always something to learn. There's always something to master. And I've probably put in so many hours of doing this. I'm still not comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still wanting to learn so much and as much as I can. And if you think you want to be in the arts, then just keep going. You're going to have to grind it out. But like I said, this is a day and age where it's perfect to share your work, because you don't know what could go viral or what could pop off or who sees it or what opportunities could come your way. I also say be kind to other people, because I believe that we reap what we sow. So if you're out here being messy, being rude, not being supportive, just not being a decent human being, then I feel like that's going to get in the way too. So I always make sure to treat everyone with kindness, support other artists, stay humble, and respect other people, because that is so important. We can't be out here being messy. We can't be out here just being a terrible human being and expecting good things to happen to us. And I think the reason why I've been able to get as far as I have been and why I've been able to be successful is because, those are values and principles that I live by. I just choose to be that way, and everything's always worked out for me. So we are making our way downtown, walking fast, faces past. We're making our way down on this tumbler. And even though it looks like, oh, you're gonna be done quick, no, that takes hours. That's probably like three to 4 more hours of work, easy. Especially with me, because I'm a perfectionist. So that's something I need to like chill on, because I really do get picky about like how things line up and stuff. And I feel like I'm a very slow blinger. People think I'm fast, but I'm actually pretty slow and pretty anal about my own work. Like, if it's messed up or it looks a little off, I just have to fix it. So I like to take my time to prevent having to fix a lot of my errors and stuff. And the thing about my story that kind of creeps me out a little bit is because I've always been an art kid, heavily into arts, love writing, love drawing, love painting. I always was that kid. And I remember wanting to be in something in the arts, when I was a kid, and being told like, well, no one really like works in the arts. Like, that's not really a real job. That's not a job you can make money. And it was lies. Like, I'm sure maybe, like how I was raised, they were worried like, oh, that's not really, our parents just want the best for us, I think. But those kind of things, like, it's just crazy how I still ended up here in the arts. No matter what I tried to do, when I tried to go into medical, when I tried to be in other fields, like, it brought me back here. So I find that very interesting to me. So like, wherever we're supposed to be, I truly believe that's where we're supposed to be. And I just kind of like boomeranged to back in the arts. And the fact that this is what I do, this is what I've been doing, that's crazy to me. So dream big, man. Like, if you want to do something, do it. start like right now, start tonight. You can start small, but just start. So yeah, that's a little bit of my story. I hope that it was like interesting to you guys, and I hope that this was helpful to somebody. All right, so side note, we're coming up around this handle here. So when you get around the handle, I would just continue with the honeycomb as close as you can nearby it. And then you'll see me filling in around it. But yeah, try to get that pattern as close as you can to it before needing to use a filler stone so it can look more uniform and clean. So there's a lot of me blinging in real time in this video, and I just want you guys to always be aware that whether you do dots or lines of glue, just make sure that your rhinestone is, like you have enough glue under your rhinestone. Otherwise you're gonna have lifting off, or that might be the first thing to fall off if you drop it, you know what I mean? So make sure always to put the right amount of glue there and that it's underneath your rhinestone completely. And I think people think we need a lot of glue. You don't need a lot of glue at all. I thought that when I first started, I would put like so much glue on. At the time I used like a white glue, and I'd put so much of that glue and it would turn clear, but I just remember it like would ooze so much between the rhinestones. You don't need to do that. You just need like a little bit of glue, like a little dab, because the glue is durable, okay? Okay, so no matter what material that you are working with, no matter what medium you're working with, you need to make sure that that glue is compatible with it. That's where you're going to want to do your research. You're going to want to look at the ingredients, the instructions, all that. You're going to want to look at all that, especially if you may be allergic to something. Check for things like that. I know some people that cannot use the 2-part epoxies because they get rashes, so you're going to want to look at things. You're going to want to do research. Is this glue okay to use indoors? Is it not okay to use indoors? Does this glue work with stainless steel? Does it work with fabric? So those are all things to consider. And I am planning on doing a glue video for you of my top 5 glues that I love to use. But like I said, even if I tell you like my top 5, you guys should still look at, the instructions no matter what, because we want to make sure we're using these glues properly. So this glue right here, like I said, I'm not sponsored, goes with so many different materials. It works with so many different materials, and it is durable. I actually did a drop test on my Instagram where I showed me dropping a tumbler, my personal tumbler, and not one stone was lost, and it was on a stainless steel coldest bottle, so it works really good. So since this is stainless steel and, like a vacuum stainless tumbler, I went ahead and that's what helped me choose this glue here for this project. And honestly, truly, learning the glues was the hardest part for me, but like I said, that's where that research comes in, and just a lot of trial and error and figuring out what works for me. So I decided to go ahead and leave the logo alone. I mixed a little bit of that 2-part epoxy and added a little bit of this gold glitter, and voila. If you made it to the end, you're an OG. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.